Hey y'all, Angela, Hippie Chick Homestead here. I haven't done an update in a while. I've been kind of down with a bug that affected my inner ear, so my balance has been really off. So I came out today to the greenhouse for the first time in about 2 weeks. So I thought I'd just do a little update on what's happening in the greenhouse and then go out to the garden and see if anything's going on out there. It has been horribly rainy, windy, typical Pacific Northwest fall weather. So not a lot going on. Temperatures have been in the 50s during the day, and at night they get down anywhere from 37, 38 up to about 50. So pretty mild. I do have a heater in the greenhouse, so I keep the greenhouse at about 45, 48 degrees even at night. And I think that's helping. I'm overwintering some peppers, and I've got a lemon tree that was very sad, and I've given it some fertilizer and just hoping to get it through to spring when I can up pot it and hopefully it will grow. So let's take a look. So these are all of the peppers that I have that I'm overwintering. I've got sweet chocolate bells, King of the North bell, and paprika. I noticed that this one paprika is really struggling and it's looking pretty dry. So I don't think that one's going to make it, but the others still look healthy. And in fact, some of them are putting on some new growth, which I don't necessarily want. They should go dormant, but we'll take what we can get. At least I know they're still alive. This is the very sad lemon tree. Lost most of its leaves. Does go pretty high, but it is kind of making a little comeback. I've got some new growth in some areas, and I think it's gonna do okay. I have high hopes for it. Let's go out to the garden and see what's going on out there. These are the blueberries that we moved into the metal beds, and the color on them is just gorgeous. They're dropping all their leaves right now, but I think they're going to do a lot better here come spring than they were in their old bed. They're going to get more sun and more consistent watering. So hopefully we'll get a nice healthy crop of blueberries from these plants. I had transplanted about 9 baby spinach plants, and the squirrels helped themselves, so I've only got 5 left. And these will probably just go for the chickens. They love spinach. The peas are still growing, trying to grow. I don't know that they're going to have time to do much before the really cold weather hits, but maybe. This is a garlic bed. It's been heavily mulched, but I see that the squirrel has been helping himself to some garlic. So I'll stick that back in the ground and we'll see if he digs it up again. Hopefully he'll leave it alone. I mulched this bed pretty lightly, but I've got carrots that are still growing in here, and then there's some in between the rows of carrots. I've got some onions. They're a day neutral onion called High Keeper, and I'm going to see if they do anything over the winter. Hopefully come spring I'll get an onion harvest. One thing I noticed is that the marigolds are just going crazy. They love the cooler weather apparently. This is the main garlic bed. This is where the garlic for the Garlic Challenge 2026, which is #garlic2026, is planted, and the squirrel has so far left it alone. I'm hoping for a healthy crop of garlic. This bed is another onion experiment. I think I've got Walla Walla, which are long day onions in here. They may not do anything over the winter. They may not get enough light to really bulb, but if they don't rot, they should come up in the spring, and I should hopefully get some onions. It looks like I've got some back there starting to come up. I don't know if that's onions or grass, to be honest with you. Looks like this one farthest back looks like maybe an onion there. That looks like grass seeds. And then I've got this little annual flower that I'm just leaving in there. See what it does. I did have an onion that didn't really bulb, so I left it in, and hopefully it'll grow, and next spring I can get some seeds from it. I've also got some leeks planted in this bed, which I've never planted before, so we'll see what they do. The asparagus is ferned. It's starting to set some seeds. You can see these little red guys right there. What I do with this bed is, after it all turns yellow and dies back, I'll put down a layer of straw, a good healthy layer of mulch on the bed to keep it over winter. This is the first year for this bed, so we're not harvesting anything for a couple of years out of it, but it looks like we're going to have a nice healthy asparagus bed. These are my strawberries. This was the first year I've had a strawberry bed, and they're an ever-bearing variety called Quinault, and Seascape, I think, is the other variety. And they went a little bit crazy. They spilled over the bed. They've rooted on the ground below. So I need to get these dug up and transplanted so that I can expand the bed and maybe have another bed of strawberries. I think I'm going to put these in the green stalk planter. So I'll get those dug up before we get a freeze. We don't usually get hard freezes until later in December, January, but Mother Nature, you never know. This is my more established asparagus bed, and just like the other one, I'm just waiting for the ferns to die down, and we'll get this one mulched and put to bed for the winter. I always forget this tree is here until fall, and it turns such a gorgeous bronze golden color. I have no idea what kind of tree it is, and if you've got any suggestions, I'll do a close-up on the leaves here. If you've got any idea what this is, drop a comment, let me know. This is my normal garden view, and it's really beautiful in the fall when things start changing colors. This is my new ginkgo tree that we just planted this past year, and it's reaching for the sky slowly, turning a beautiful gold color. And then the willow, which will start losing its leaves. It's already starting to turn yellow. And then some of the neighbors' trees, beautiful yellows. You can see their horses out in the pasture. It's just a beautiful fall day. So if I look the other way from the garden, this is toward the west. You can see my blueberry bed and my willow, which I absolutely love. It's one of the big selling points for me for this house was the huge willow. It's actually half the size that it used to be. We lost about half of it a few years back in an ice storm. And then you can see the oaks across the street, which are just turning beautiful colors and slowly losing their leaves. Looks pretty dreary in the winter, but it's gorgeous in the fall. If I swing around from the weeping willow, over here, bordering our property, we have a bank of rhododendrons, which are evergreen. And I'm always amazed in September, October at the ones that put out flowers. It seems such an odd thing to do this time of year. They don't put out a lot, and you can see the buds that they've set to open in the spring. So hopefully we'll have kind of an explosion of color over here come springtime. I hope you've enjoyed walking through the garden and around the yard. The fall garden is not really doing a lot, but it's nice to take in the sun while it's here and not get rained on. Hope you're having a great day. Take care, y'all.